Roll sound, welcome to the show. This is where we sit around and we talk about movies. I'm your host, Garrett Ray. With me is Katie Fain, Abby Kate, and Micah the Goat, Warber Jaegerman Jensen, the man, the myth, the legend, Junior Esquire.
I haven't passed my bar yet.
So normally I have pages and pages and pages and pages and pages of notes. As you guys know, I like to over-prepare and then make each episode a little bit longer than the last one. This time I have a page of notes. I'm under-prepared. So just so that everyone listening knows what they're in for, it's basically me having a mental breakdown in the midst of 40 billion projects, and then everyone else having something of a normal brain for the moment.
No, I wouldn't say normal.
No.
All right, so dear listener, you are screwed. So
We're all a little whacked up.
So, whacked up? Whacked up?
Sorry.
What does that mean?
We all got stuff to figure out.
Like, what does whacked up mean?
Life is weird, man.
Alrighty, so we've gone to 90s stoner talk now. This is a great start.
It's fine.
Let's get into the news. We got hot news, hot off the press, very hot. Ooh, touch it. Ouch.
No, I'm not going to touch that.
Well, very smart.
Too hot.
So there's apparently a Venom movie, and it is set for release by Sony in 2018. So we've heard. We'll see. We've heard reports of a Venom movie since The Amazing Spider-Man 1 came out. There's been a lot of talk about this. But Exhibitor Relations reports that Sony has given Venom a 2018 release date on its schedule, and that Alex Kurtzman, who directed The Mummy, will helm the project.
Which mummy?
The new one, if I remember correctly.
Boo.
Boo.
You haven't seen it.
I know.
You don't know yet.
It looks.
It's Tom Cruise.
It's Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
Well,
if they'd
it's
cast
fine.
anybody else, I might be a little bit more interested.
let's have Tom Cruise play Venom. All right?
It's a small Venom.
Everybody on board? You're right.
We need apple boxes to make him tall.
Oh, we're going to need so many apple boxes. But Exhibitor Relations said, watch out. This is a tweet. They said, watch out, Spider-Man. Venom is now part of the release calendar web as Sony has slated the Spidey spinoff for October 5th, 2018. So, that's happening.
Cool. Sounds venomy.
It's a very astute analysis.
Does
Thank
it
you.
now?
Thank you very much for that piece of ear candy right there.
You're welcome, world.
Future Star Wars movies won't rely on legacy story elements. A lot of the stuff that were in books and all that stuff that had been created for the expanded universe of Star Wars was relegated now to Star Wars Legends, so it's not a part of the official canon. It's just kind of like, these are stories that are told in the Star Wars universe, and so they're basically just saying, we're not relying on any of that. We're just doing our own thing.
Got it.
Which I'm okay with. I want new content. I want fresh ideas. I want stuff that's hotter than this hot news. Psst, ouch.
Don't ever do that again.
Psst, ouch.
Please don't.
I've done it again. I'm gonna do it one more time.
No!
Psst, ouch.
You're fired.
You can't fire me. I created this company.
I'm your wife.
Crap. I do lose. I lose right there. So the writers of Kung Fu Panda and Lion King are developing new animated films. So if you ever wanted to see Kung Fu Panda roll up to the big rock and sing Nasavenia while he flies down a...
Nasabingya?
That's the name of that song.
Pretty sure it's called The Circle of Life, but
that's two different songs.
Circle of life.
It's
And
this...
it moves us on.
I love The Lion King. It's
great.
I like a good Lion King story.
See,
I didn't see that movie till I was in 8th grade.
Well,
What?
that's unfortunate. That was my movie when I was growing up. I watched that movie over and over again.
I didn't.
Did you watch the second one?
I watched The Lion King 1.5 a bunch.
I love
What?
that one.
That
I watched
one's-
that one a bunch.
It's really good.
I don't like that one.
It's fun.
I don't like that one.
I saw it once and I wasn't the hugest fan.
I
of
like the first one the best, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
Because Hakuna Matata.
Hakuna Matata.
And then I Can't Wait to Be King.
I just can't wait to be king.
Thanks for giving us a little preview of each of those.
You're welcome.
We are getting
I felt like-
sued so bad.
No, you have to do at least 10 seconds of a song before you get sued.
I also have no concept of time, so you're going to have to tell me if that was okay or not.
It's fine. Also, I did it once and I felt like I had to do it again, so
Yeah.
sorry.
So Skydance, known for hits in big franchises like Mission Impossible and Terminator, has teamed up with the Madrid-based Ilion Animation Studios, I believe it is. This font makes it very hard to read if that's an I or an L. Maybe it's just Leon. It's probably Ilion. Anyway, and according to THR, they've just commissioned some high-profile writers. The first comes to us from Kung Fu Panda and Trolls writers Jonathan Abel and Glenn Berger to pen one of the projects with the working title Luck. Skydance has been largely mum on the details, but the company has said that the story pulls back the curtain on the millennia-old battle between the organizations of good luck and bad luck that secretly affects our daily lives.
So, like, Inside Out?
No, I think it's going to be more like a good and a bad version of the Lucky Charms mascot, just running around trying to shove cereal in kids' faces.
I see.
Probably.
And the cereal endorsement will definitely be there.
Oh, yes.
We're going to see a Lucky Charms character somewhere in there, I guarantee it. Abel and Berger will also serve as producers. Her last name's Berger. His? Glenn? It could be a boy, it could be a girl. I don't know.
It's probably
a boy.
guy.
Probably. But I don't know. The other film is being written by the equally impressive Linda Woolverton, who penned several Disney hits, including The Lion King, Beauty and the Beast, and Maleficent.
Wow.
Yeah. That's a very long-running career right there. Yeah.
It's impressive.
The story will follow a teenager who comes of age using her magical powers to defend her family when the opposing forces of light and darkness threaten to divide her kingdom. So when it does the same thing as every movie ever.
Yeah. There's a special person, and they use their special things to defeat the bad things.
You are the special. So, Skydance CEO David Ellison said, "It is incredibly gratifying to see one of my deepest passions come to life as we enter the animation business with Ilion." It is Ilion. This font is easier to read when they do the quote.
Nice.
Together, we aim to bring together the most creative visionaries, the best-in-class production skills, and the highest degree of technological innovation in the service of great stories. Like Trolls, apparently.
Oof.
I never saw it, so I can't say one way or the
I
other.
actually went into Walmart today, and it was playing on one of the TVs, and I was not impressed.
I
didn't watch
watched
the whole thing.
I watched one of those videos. It's like everything wrong with Trolls in 18 minutes. And it was, I couldn't make it through just someone making fun of the movie for 18 minutes. It's so bad. Did not like it. It was just a vehicle to sell that song. I Can't Stop the Feeling.
Yeah, I never
So
gave it a chance. I do like that song though.
Yeah.
yeah.
Fun song.
She played it the other day while she was putting her makeup on.
Yeah.
Very loudly.
Can't stop the feeling.
I wish someone would.
Welcome to this podcast where Katie and Abby just kind of sing randomly throughout the entire thing.
Abby is a much better singer though.
You can sing, though. Yeah, you can.
No.
So Aquaman has been moved back.
Garrett makes no comment.
I'm not saying anything because that's my wife and she can beat me up. So the does that count as saying? Moving on. There's Aquaman that's coming up and it has been moved back 2 months. It was originally slated to open in theaters in July of 2018. Then was shifted back to October 5th of that year. So that happened, and then now it's going to come out on December 21st, 2018. This release date was previously being reserved for Avatar 2, but Avatar 2 has been pushed back now because apparently they're trying to make 4 movies at once, and no one's really ever attempted that, so it's hitting a lot of snags, and like, how do we figure all this out, and there's the scheduling and all that stuff, so they're just gonna do something else there and move everything back.
Neat.
More DC news, because that's kind of a running theme here, as we just talk about what's happening at DC and how it could go wrong, or how it is going wrong more often than not. It's their fault. They're trying to rush every movie they're making out the door, except for Aquaman apparently, but they're just like, yeah, just push it back, whatever. But like every movie they make, they're just going, okay, how can we fit, like, okay, Batman versus Superman, for instance. It was, how can we fit a Man of Steel sequel and a Batman movie and a Justice League precursor into one film? We'll make it 40 hours long and then cut out all the parts that make it make sense.
Yep.
Get it out the door.
Hopefully, everyone will be alive after.
Nope. Someone's not, though. Spoilers, if you haven't seen it at this point, Superman dies. And it means nothing.
Do you think it... Never mind.
What?
He didn't... He only comes back, though.
Well, yes, but he's dead as of right now.
For a sec.
I didn't watch the movie, so...
The diamond might have something to do with his coming back.
The diamond?
In the ring.
Yeah.
The diamond in the ring?
Yeah, and the ring that gets sent to...
Lois.
Yeah.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
You need to rewatch it then, or at least rewatch the last 10 minutes.
I'll be honest. At that point, my eyes had glazed over a little bit. But I don't know. I don't know what's gonna bring him back. They'll probably like as some type of extra little, let's celebrate his life, we'll shoot him into the sun because he was our brightest star, and the sun is where Superman gets his power, and it'll just kind of, he'll wake up and be like, there's a big hole, and just kind of like, I'm better now, and then he'll come back to Earth, but his suit will be black because it will have been scorched by the sun, and now we'll have black suited Superman, and it'll be a thing.
It'll be boring.
Nothing in that movie, like I said, I actually liked it. But all of the characters were just like, Superman just reacts to things around him and kind of scowls and goes, now I'm sad. That's all he does to that whole movie.
That's true.
So
Superman's never been interesting to me, but I don't know, I really liked that movie. I thought it was good.
The extended cut is good.
Mm-hmm.
If it's missing the parts that they cut out of the extended cut, it doesn't make much sense.
I haven't even seen that version.
I didn't watch it, but I went and looked up and saw like all the scenes they cut out, and was like, that's integral to the whole plot of this film.
But you didn't see the last 10 minutes.
Didn't pay attention.
I didn't see a ring with a diamond. Most rings have diamonds in it. I probably I don't look at shiny things.
That's sad.
You look at me.
You must have a
I'm a
You're
shiny
not
thing.
shiny thing.
I'm a shiny thing.
No, when are you a shiny thing?
When I sparkle with highlighter.
Oh my goodness. I've gone to work because Katie's makeup, all of her makeup has sparkles in it. All of it. Every last thing. And
her foundation.
I go to work and people look at me and they go, "Why are you sparkling?" I'm like, "I'm just a real happy person and I have sparkles." So that I go to the bathroom and try and rub it off for 20 minutes and just come out and I'm still sparkling.
I like shiny things.
Oh, we are not prepared for this episode. Anyway, but what I was saying, speaking of DC, James Mangold, who directed Logan, which is, I still think, the best superhero movie ever made.
Really good.
Oh, it's good. Ooh. So good. But James Mangold said he is very excited about the Batman movie that Matt Reeves is developing. So apparently this guy whose handle on Twitter is iUnique117, which means his handle was not that unique. If there are 116 other ones, maybe you should pick something else. Anyway, he said, "Hey James, I watched Logan 3 times. I'm so in love with it. I'm just curious, would you do a Dark Knight Returns Batman movie?" Referencing the Dark Knight Returns comic book. And Mangold responded with, "My talented friend at Matt Reeves LA is starting work on a new Batman. I can't wait to see what he does." So I didn't look at this article before I opened it to read the news. I feel like this is the fact that they titled this Logan director is excited for Matt Reeves the Batman. I feel like that's extrapolating a bit more than the evidence is providing here, because he just said, "I'm excited to see what he does with it" on Twitter, which means nothing. It's a stupid article. We're moving on. Transformers: The Last Night has a new trailer coming out this week. That's happening. There's a Power Ranger clip that happens.
Who cares?
Samuel L. Jackson wants to be in John Wick 3. I say let him. Whatever. Guardians of the Galaxy have an integral role in Avengers: Infinity War. We know that. Dwayne Johnson's Skyscraper movie synopsis and release date. I have no idea what that is, and I don't care. James Gunn is not sure if he's going to direct Guardians of the Galaxy 3, which I think if he doesn't, it's going to be poop. So just give him all the money because he's the only one who knows what to do with those characters. Please give him whatever it takes to get him back.
Yeah.
Suicide Squad 2 recruits the Legend of Tarzan writer because of his fantastic storytelling. I guess.
I never saw that movie.
I didn't either.
I wanted to watch it. But
I've heard mixed reviews. Some people say it was boring. Some people say the monkeys were real good.
I just wanted to see it because Christoph Waltz.
Yeah, Christoph Waltz is fantastic.
He is.
He even made Water for Elephants bearable to watch, even though it has Robert Pattinson in it.
That's a good movie. Have you watched it?
You know Robert Pattinson absolutely hates Twilight.
I know.
Yeah.
Which is really funny.
I agree with him.
Yeah.
He has every right.
Probably because it brings back bad memories of Kristen Stewart cheating on him.
I think he probably hates it because it's a terrible set of films.
That too. But I'm just saying, he had to spend time on set with Kristen Stewart.
Yeah.
His
She
ex-girlfriend.
doesn't seem like a happy person.
Yeah, but he also had to spend time on set with that script. And that is definitely worse. I saw someone on
like
Twitter.
Him in Harry Potter is the thing.
I did see that Harry Potter.
Did you?
Yeah. Actually,
That's a
no,
good
I've seen all of them. I don't remember them, though, at all.
You're a terrible human.
Okay. Here we go.
And then I'm a terrible human, too.
You haven't seen Harry Potter? Guys, we're doing a marathon.
Oh, boy. Well, you want to do commentaries of all the Harry Potters?
No, I just said we're doing a marathon. I didn't say we had to comment on them at all.
If we're not working, I feel like I'm doing something wrong with my life.
That's a problem.
But I've produced more content in the last 3 months than I have in the last 3 years with that attitude, so. And like 20 people see it. So I think I'm doing pretty well. Please help me. So, Christopher Nolan's Dunkirk is going to be rated PG-13. So I thought that was pretty interesting.
Huh.
So we're getting a war movie. It's the first World War II war movie aside from that. It's not the Men Who Stare at Goats, but it's the George Clooney one that Monuments Men, which apparently wasn't very good.
Yeah.
But the first World War II movie we're getting that's getting a lot of attention, really. And it's going to be rated PG-13, so it's not going to be super bloody and gory. But I'm sure Nolan will find some way to tug at heartstrings.
Yeah.
Regardless of...
He usually does.
Yeah. I don't know if we talked about this last week, but we finally watched Interstellar.
Oh, you hadn't seen that?
I had not seen it. Very good.
I liked it.
A lot of people make fun of those robots. I thought they were really cool.
Oh, I like the robots.
I did find out that a lot of the, like when it's just the three-legged version of them, that's actually practical. Because I was sitting there watching, I was like, how did they make this look so good? Like, it's just there. Mm-hmm. It's because it was there.
Nice.
Go figure.
Yeah.
So
It's a very well done film. I'd have to watch it again. I was really angry when I finished it because logically it doesn't make sense, but I can't remember why.
You were mad because they were like up in space on that thing, but you were trying to figure out how they got all their resources because all the resources on Earth had diminished.
That too.
Yeah, that didn't make any sense.
There are several things that just sort of collapse the thing altogether and just make that not work at all. Those bugged me a lot.
Yeah, the only real problem I have with that is like somewhere in the middle of the film, they is posit the word I'm looking for? They posit that love is the most powerful force in the universe, and science is dumb. That's basically what they were saying. They're like, "Shut up, love," and I'm Anne Hathaway with the short haircut, and I'm crying, and love, boo hoo hoo, and that was kind of. It felt like it was kind of just thrown in there when I was watching. I was like, "That's all right, fine, whatever, throw it in there." And then at the end they were like, no, love has caused this bookshelf to become a crux point in time, and now you can throw books around like an angry 4-year-old. So I don't know, whatever though.
Something that was really cool is when they did the poem right before the ship took off. That was awesome. That was Do not go gently into that. Good night.
I could listen to Michael Caine read poetry every day.
Yeah.
On Michael Caine. Do not go gently into that good night.
Also the music.
Yeah.
Music was very good. I did think it played too much sometimes. But it was good. But there were just sometimes I was like, has the music stopped in 20 minutes? It hasn't, has it?
Yeah, for some of those really intense action sequences that go on forever.
Yeah. There's that one point where the ship is blown and it's spinning, and it takes about, I wanted to say about 6 years for them to attach. But to be fair, the fact that they pulled that off, like the fact that they did pull that off, it didn't feel like it was overly long for the real situation because they did have to catch up with the spin and all that. Like, it was very, it was tense. It was in the moment. It was very good. I liked it.
But we're doing a different movie today.
Yeah, we're not talking about Interstellar. Not today.
But speaking of Dunkirk being PG-13 and being a war movie, another movie that squeezes a lot into PG-13 and gets away with a lot of stuff is Kong, Skull Island.
Oh, he took my segue from me. He just stole it right out from under me.
Very well, though, I must say.
Right. Well, can I do one more piece of news?
Yeah, do it.
Actually, I have two pieces of news. The first is an actual piece of news. The Matrix is getting rebooted.
That's dumb.
So that's happening. The second is not so much actual piece of news as it is just that the Jurassic World 2 director, there's a photo of him on set, and some guy's got a phone is recording a waterfall, and he's got one of those little dinosaur hand puppets, and he's just holding it up in front of the camera to make it look like there's a dinosaur.
That's amazing.
So that's pretty good. But you know what doesn't have dinosaurs is Kong, Skull Island. I stole it back.
It kind of has dinosaurs.
No dinosaurs.
They're pretty much dinosaurs.
I took my segue back, and none of you can take that from me.
They're ancient reptilian creatures.
You're an ancient reptilian creature.
Okay.
They're pretty much dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Your mom's a dinosaur. I win.
Yeah, you win.
I win.
Okay.
I'm not prepared for this at all, so I've resorted to fourth grade insults. So Kong Skull Island, let's play a game. A game that last week almost got me stabbed through the throat. Katie, in 15 words or less, with no spoilers, what is the plot of this movie?
About a giant monkey.
About a giant monkey.
That smashes
people.
That's actually really good. I'm not sure why it starts with the word about, but very good.
Yep.
Cool.
Is that a monkey?
So we went and watched Kong Skull Island. We didn't see. They weren't showing it in XD when we went to go. They were still showing Logan in XD, which I'm proud of. I have nothing to do with that movie, and I'm so proud of it.
Wonderful.
All right, you guys just want to do another episode on Logan? Because I don't want to talk about Kong. I don't.
It was good.
Oh, we're good. Oh, here we go. It's a movie fight.
What do you think of it?
I liked it.
I also liked it.
I was disappointed.
Huh.
It wasn't my favorite, but I enjoyed it.
Well, you ever heard of a dangling participle? That one was more than dangling. It was like it had been abandoned on an island for 20 years. Oh, that's great. I love that you snort because everyone makes fun of my laugh because when I really start laughing, it comes out as like some type of whooping cough. And my brother makes fun of me mercilessly for it, but I have you to balance me out with the snorts.
My snorts are cute though.
Oh, my whooping cough is not, apparently. Without getting into spoilers, just real quick, I was really. We're not doing spoilers first. It's something that everyone does, and we're following an unspoken rule where we talk no spoilers and then spoilers. And you guys can all look at. You know what? You can't look at me like that. It's rude. You did the whooping cough. Ha! It's not just me. I win.
But she didn't do it like.
Yeah, mine doesn't come out like that.
All right. Well,
I love you.
Okay, so back to the movie. I was very excited. When I saw the trailers, I was pumped for this movie. And then when I went in, I felt discombobulated and confused a lot. And it's not because I'm stupid.
I think it might be.
No, it's not.
What was confusing?
The editing was confusing sometimes. Like, okay. Let's go into spoilers. Everyone can be happy. The non-spoiler review is 3 people liked it. 1 person was disappointed. That one person was me. Maybe half a person. I don't know what I am anymore.
I don't think it delivered completely, but there were.
Yeah, it's like FedEx, but you only got like 2 out of the 3 boxes.
But I enjoyed what I was watching. It's just some of the colors were a little bit off to me.
See, I think the color grading is the one thing they got right.
Huh.
Well, not the one thing. They got several things right. Like, turn on the camera, I guess.
You mean colors as in, like, the blue blood?
No.
I thought that was awesome.
That was pretty cool.
What do you think was off?
Like, where the, what do you call them? The dinosaur-looking things, what are they called?
Skull crawlers?
Yeah, those. The coloring and where they live, it just looked gross to me. I know it was supposed to. Probably, but
it looked gross.
The coloring made me cringe.
Yeah.
And the coloring made me want to vomit.
Yeah. I think it was supposed to.
I know, but I just didn't like it.
Not the giant monkey bones. Those were not an issue. Just the color.
I felt like the monkey bones were too small there.
Yeah, they were.
Right?
You felt like what?
The monkey bones were too small. However, they did say that, like, Kong hasn't stopped growing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's possible that his parents died at a younger age than he is when we see him in the movie.
It's funny, when Godzilla came out, because this is in the same universe as Godzilla,
Right.
When Godzilla came out, I saw a very interesting written report about how Godzilla could not exist because his size, his body would literally just crumple in on itself because of the massive weight. So Kong is like, I feel like he's definitely got some type of gigantus thing going on, and he's gonna reach. He's at 100 feet tall right now. He's the highest Kong in movie history. So Kong is 100 feet tall. He's the highest Kong in movie history. But if he gets to 125, I feel like his bones are just gonna kind of go, and then he'll just be like a mound of monkey.
You don't know what his bones are made out of?
Bones. What else would they be made out of?
Adamantium.
No. If he's still growing, you can't adamantize his bones because it would stunt his growth.
Oh, they could be really, really dense.
I'm sure they are. He's huge.
Or not necessarily dense, but they could be really dense but kind of hollow, and they have like interlacing kind of I-beam sort of structure, so you have lots of triangles throughout the whole thing, so you have a lot of structural support in them.
So instead of him climbing the Empire State Building, this time he is the Empire State Building.
Essentially.
Yeah.
He's kind of like the Statue of Liberty.
Wonderful.
Besides, it's a movie. They can do whatever they want.
Yeah.
Well, way to go spoil the fun.
I mean, it doesn't have to make sense.
Well, before we get to
mind.
Kong, we'll get there. Let's talk about the opening. We get a plane coming down on a beach. That looked pretty good. When that plane hit, it's great. It looked really painful for the plane.
Then the plane looked really small.
And it did look kind of small. I think it was because that first shot, it looks like you're closer in on the beach, but it's actually a wide shot. I kind of like that they were just playing around with it a little bit, and like perspective was a little bit off. It's off through the whole movie. So, but that opening fight. So we get John C. Reilly's character as a younger person, and we get this Japanese fighter, and John C. Reilly's younger guy pulls his gun and shoots all of his shots and just hits the sand around him because apparently they didn't train anyone on how to aim in World War II.
Because it's a movie and they want you to watch someone shoot sand.
I mean,
the guy could have moved around. He just stood there and was like, "Oh, you can't hit me. Oh, mystical arts."
They were pumping out soldiers pretty quick in those days.
Yeah, and he looked really young. Like,
also he was
17,
nervous,
kind of young.
Also a little bit rattled because his plane just crashed.
I don't want to hear excuses. I just want him to aim down the barrel.
His plane crashed. He's rattled.
He's standing on unsteady ground.
Fine. Okay, now you're reaching for straws.
Okay, but still.
His plane crashed.
Have you
I'll
ever tried
accept
to do
that.
something on sand? It's not easy.
Yeah, when you're standing still and you point a gun in front of you, the sand's not constantly moving. He was standing very still. He wasn't running away. He was standing right there, just looking directly at the guy. He pulls the gun and goes.
The other excuses actually make sense.
Fine, he crashes his plane. And then the Japanese guy pulls his gun and he misses, and then they run out into the woods, and there's a bunch of running, and then there's a sword, and the sword, he's... Okay, so he pulls his sword back and stabs at our John C. Reilly young guy character, and John C. Reilly young guy character grabs the sword and stops it. This is literally impossible.
Yeah.
That's not how physics works. All of this will do is make sure that your fingers get sliced as it stabs you through the gullet.
Yep.
So bull. But the giant monkey I was okay with.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, there's like I've seen people. Mythbusters tested this with like catching a swing, but a stab is even more like you're not going to get the friction you need to stop that, and it's going to hurt the whole time you're failing.
Yeah,
that was really painful to watch.
Yeah, that was
the sound design is really nice there. Well, not really nice. Well, really effective.
Yeah,
it was really gross.
Yeah,
yay, squishy sounds. Kong comes over the side of this precipice while the Japanese guy's about to stab John C. Reilly through the face or the throat with a knife that he had, and then they just kind of look over, and we go into his iris or retina or whatever, and that's how the movie opens. But we don't know how they escaped Kong. Why Kong didn't just squash them with his little pinky finger and just go like he would to a little gnat that's stuck on the table.
I feel like there was a whole lot of deleted content.
Yeah, it feels
so much.
It feels like there's probably a lot more that happened with the two World War people. World War II people.
What war? The war to end all wars.
The WW2 people. I feel like there was a lot more with them, and they had to cut it down to make it shorter or something.
See, I have a different theory. They didn't write anything. And they said, we'll just say it happened.
But
looking at the rest of the script, how the dialogue was written, I'm sorry.
Looking at the emphasis they placed on John C. Reilly having his Japanese friend there and the importance of his funeral, but the funeral is kind of short, it felt like they cut a lot of stuff out that involved the Japanese character.
Honest to goodness, I think they just didn't even care.
I want to see if there's deleted scenes.
If there's a deleted scene that shows more stuff happening with this younger Japanese man and all the stuff that happened on the island, I will issue a public apology on our Twitter, which is @RollSoundPod.
It's okay, they don't care.
I'm just trying to drum up some responses. I will issue a public apology, but I swear, based on how the rest of this script was written, they didn't. They didn't. Nope. No Peru. No Perino. Zero. Zip. Zilch. Someone help. I'm here alone.
Yep.
Because we disagree.
Well, you can move on. Okay, we're going to talk about something else then.
Come to John Goodman and his partner. They're trying to get funding to go to the island from a senator. And
I think that this is the most phoned-in performance I've ever seen from John Goodman. I didn't. There were so many times where he said something, and I was like, did they just hand him this script?
I did get that from him in the first couple of minutes, yeah.
Even on the island, it was just like...
It's like, here, say these words.
Yeah, of all the characters, he was definitely the weakest.
I don't think that. I don't think he was the weakest. I just think he was weak for John Goodman.
Okay, not the weakest, but maybe second weakest.
You know who was the weakest? I feel like it was the Sky High kid.
Sky High kid?
Yeah, you guys ever see Sky High?
Yeah.
Yeah, who's that?
He was the kid with the bandana.
Really?
Yes, the one with eternal baby face. That one.
Oh, I didn't think he was bad. I thought he did a good job.
I didn't think he was that bad.
He just screams, "Is no one gonna talk about the thing that happened?" That's his line 40 times.
Yeah, it was just a recurring joke. He said it 2 or 3 times.
No, a recurring joke is funny. This was just a repeated line because no one bothered to write more dialogue for the poor guy.
It was a recurring joke.
Amusing.
I didn't.
Because he had other lines.
Well, a few.
Several.
All right.
You just went into this movie with your hypercritical hat on.
No, I went in excited. I was so pumped for this movie. It just let me down in so many ways. Think about it, though. We've come back to normal, Garrett. Because when we first did this, I was so critical of everything. I think the first time we recorded our Star Wars Rogue One podcast, which we had to record 3 times. Because I'm an idiot and did stuff wrong. Like, the first time I was like, I hate it. And then the second time I was like, it was okay. And the third time I was like, you know what? It's pretty good. So maybe if I watch this 2 more times and we record this 2 more times, I'll be on board with the rest of you. this is another great example of senators just throwing taxpayer dollars around willy-nilly because they owe some guy favors, which happens in every movie.
Because they don't want Russia to get it first.
If Russia showed up there, no, you know what? That's probably right. They'd be like, yeah, put that monkey in a missile. Send it over to the U.S. They will not know what to do because monkey is big.
I really hope no one Russian is trying to listen to you.
Believe me, no one is listening to this.
Very true.
I have looked at statistics on podcast. It's not good. Tell your friends, or else. So yeah. Anyway, we get introduced to kind of our military escort. We have Samuel. I almost said Samuel Goodman. I am so bad at this right now. Samuel L. Jackson, who feels like they've abandoned the war.
His character is named Preston.
It's what?
His character is Preston.
Preston. So Preston gets a phone call in a phone booth and says, "Thanks for sending me to more wars. I like wars. Wars are good." And then he hangs up.
I thought his character was really actually kind of interesting.
I thought he was one of the more interesting ones in the movie. Yeah.
Because it was just kind of like showing his steady decline into insanity, but it wasn't.
It's a Samuel L. Jackson biography, actually, this movie. The slow descent into
Well, it was just like, it was not obvious until, like, the very end. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like...
Being got smushed.
Yeah. It was just kind of like, you could tell that he was like, gotta kill the monkey. Yeah. He's driven for sure, but you don't realize completely that he's just slowly going insane.
And I think that part of his need to kill the monkey, as it were, is that someone's gonna tweet us and be like, "It's not a monkey. You kept saying monkey. It's an ape.
If it doesn't have a tail, it's not a monkey.
It's an animated monkey, as far as I'm concerned." But also, there's that great shot of Kong walking through the water, and it's just his butt.
Yeah,
we got some real close up Kong butt.
It looks real fuzzy.
There was no tail. It's not a monkey. Fair enough. Just a butt.
Just an ape butt.
Just a big old hairy butt.
His hairs are big.
Anyway, so Samuel L. Jackson's character, Preston. I refuse to learn their names. I don't care enough.
Preston.
They call him Packard.
Packard.
The movie. I don't think I heard his first name.
Hewlett Packard I think it's kind of like, because he feels a certain way about, the Vietnam War, like he has to win this. Like that's his reasoning. I did feel like he was one of the characters who had a more solid motivation and a goal through this, where the rest are just like, go north.
His character fulfilled this purpose about making people angry.
Yeah.
That's Samuel L. Jackson for you. I'd like to see him at the grocery store, just like someone.
Just stare down. No, Black Friday.
Oof.
I've had it with these monkey freaking people with their monkey freaking TVs. So no, I did think he was one of the stronger characters. I did like his story arc more than some other stuff. But let's talk about Tom Hiddleston for a second. Tom Hiddleston is in this, and that's about all I can say about it. He's in it, I guess. Like, okay, so he's supposed to be an SAS, military British guy. Since when did they learn to stop flying pool balls with half a pool stick and just kind of like do this backhanded bat thing that can knock people out? Where is the training camp for that?
It was in the script.
That was stupid and poorly edited, and I didn't like it.
I thought it was funny.
Me too.
I just looked at it, I was like,
He has good reflexes.
No one has. It's a pool ball.
Tom does.
No.
No, he just hits it like
Conrad
a baseball bat, or like
Technically,
a cricket.
his name
like
is
ball.
James Conrad.
Technically, his name is. Who cares? This guy was useless.
Use the character's name.
No. He was there. We could have cut him entirely out of the movie, and it wouldn't have affected a single thing.
No, I feel like it would have, because he's a tracker.
Yeah.
What did he track?
He found their way out of the jungle.
Yeah. They would still be in the jungle if it wasn't for him.
Someone else could have gone to the top of a hill and looked around and went, there's a river.
And he's the one who saved most of the group from Samuel L. Jackson. He was the other opposing force.
He was the only thing, like, taking a huge stand against...
Keeping the group together. He was the only thing
He was like a common ground, a middleman. He was a peacekeeper, and he just wanted, I liked him.
Yeah, well, he didn't use that pool trick again, so I think that was just bull.
He's just Studley.
I think it was he just was put in there to make the girls go, whoo.
I still think he was pointless.
He is pretty.
Like, name one interesting thing about his character. Not about what he does, but about him as a character.
He's dreamy.
It's not a character trait.
The way he carried himself was fine.
There's nothing about him that's interesting, though.
The way he carried himself, I liked.
With his feet? Everyone does that.
No, he's confident
and
he understands situations and people. Mm-hmm. And he is good at assessing a situation and bringing people together and having them come to a very calm decision, even when things are kind of freaky.
I still think he was boring. He was very boring. So was the photographer.
I liked her.
Her only personality trait is camera.
Her personality trait is wanting peace.
All she does is say, I'm an anti-war photographer, and that's the only glimpse we get at her being anti-war, really. The rest is if it's, you want to say it's subtle, it's not subtle, it's just lazy. I didn't like her.
You didn't like anything.
Brie Larson is an award-winning actress. She is fantastic, but there is nothing in this script that gives these A-list actors something to play with.
I mean, the script could have been better, but it wasn't as terrible as all that.
It was poop. Someone pooped this, and then they made it a movie. I'm being really harsh. I know I'm being overly harsh, but I still compared to a lot of the other movies we've gotten in the last year, this is not up to par.
But it's like 50 billion times better than Godzilla. It's more up to par than
the Wolverine.
I disagree.
It was way better than Godzilla. Godzilla was absolute trash.
Godzilla was more... I mean, granted, there should have been more Godzilla in it. I'm not saying it was a perfect movie, but I think Godzilla was more coherent.
No.
It was all just disconnected in the character.
Purposeless being in that theater.
Well, that's how I felt in Kong Skull Island.
That's not what your face said.
We'll all be happy when Kong and Godzilla meet.
I was laughing because it was ridiculous. I wasn't laughing because I thought it was genuinely funny. I was laughing because I thought there's no way that this is actually a real thing.
When body parts were being flung, it was funny to watch his face.
What are you talking about?
You were excited.
Why weren't you watching the movie? You can't review this. You didn't see it.
I was watching the movie, but I happened to see your face in the corner of my eye going...
You know, no one can see
that,
right?
I wasn't...
They heard the gasp.
That was just for you.
Communication.
That was for you.
Okay, I'm not saying I didn't have any fun with this. I'm just saying, overall...
It sounds like you didn't have any fun with this.
I didn't have enough fun for the price of admission.
Really?
I really didn't. And I went on discount day. I felt like there's weird editing, and all of the parts where there's so much focus on these human characters, but they're all just fodder to get squashed by a giant bug. Like, there was no one in there that I felt connected with.
I did feel really upset about that one dude.
Which dude? The chaplain?
Yeah.
The chaplain?
Yeah. The chaplain, yeah.
The one with the notebook?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, his death was kind of sad. That stick bug, though. Stick bug was pretty great.
I liked stick bug.
No, not the bug that stuck, but the
stick bug.
Stick bug.
The log bug.
Yeah.
He made me so happy.
Yeah. All right, so what did you guys think of monster design in this?
The monsters were great.
Yeah. They were good. Okay, so here's the thing. It was really cool how they did the skull crawlers, and it made me even more mad at whoever made the Great Wall, because it's just like, look, these things are otherworldly, but they are terrifying.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I liked the monster design in this.
It was great.
That spider?
The spider was...
Oh my gosh, that was the thing of nightmares.
When that guy looks up and his mouth drops open and the leg just right through his mouth.
Yeah,
my throat hurt.
That was messed up.
That was a really fun scene. I enjoyed that.
That spider was so crazy.
Oh, that was terrifying.
Yeah. And the stick bug. I love the stick bug.
It was such a happy stick bug.
And the kraken. Oof.
Oh, yeah.
I thought it was just a squid.
That's an
octopus. It was more crackeny.
It
was like a scary octopus.
It was a skoctopus. Can we be friends again now that I've said that?
I was so nervous when the chaplain walked out into the water after that the tentacle just
broke
the surface. It was like, ugh.
Yeah.
There's a lot in this movie that really put you on edge.
Yeah.
A lot of
like the script put me on edge.
No,
sorry.
But like, you always, you were never really sure if anybody was ever safe, and they communicated that really well. And they did a lot with, I don't know, just kind of the mood and also the framing. I noticed that they used a lot of center framing for the people, and this really created a sense of like urgency and like something is going to happen to them that's bad. I noticed that a lot. Yeah. But they often tricked you with that. Like they would give that on someone, and then that person wouldn't die and nothing bad would happen. But it really just created the mood.
Mm-hmm. I did like that there was a lot of when we see Kong fighting these other things, it's big wide shots and we get to actually see what's happening. Michael Bay, you can learn a thing or two from this.
Yeah, everything that was supposed to be big looked really big.
Yeah,
it's great.
Yeah, I agree. The Kong stuff was really good. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that as a film overall, when it comes to story, I felt like it was lazy. I feel like they just did. It felt like a think tank movie more than someone telling a story of these characters. Kong is the biggest character.
Yeah.
I did like Kong. I thought he fought real good.
I agree with you on the story part because there wasn't really much story, but I feel like that was like they
just need a reason for these people to get on an island.
Yeah.
Really.
But I feel like they tried to do things but didn't commit to them. So like John C. Reilly, who I think is the best part of this movie.
He was great.
He was awesome.
I love John C. Reilly, and I don't really like John C. Reilly in a lot of other stuff. Like he kind of just gets on my nerves sometimes. But in this, I really liked him.
He was so great.
But I feel like he was in Castaway. Samuel L. Jackson was in some type of revenge movie like Kill Bill or something. Then we've got Tom Hiddleston and Brie Larson who are in a fun adventure romp. And then we've got, just a bunch of soldier guys who are in a Vietnam Apocalypse Now movie. And it's like you can't decide what you're doing here, so a lot of this stuff doesn't seem to mesh very well. And that's what I felt like is like. And John C. Reilly, funny. Everyone else around John C. Reilly brought him down. That whole thing with the Skullcrawler name thing, which was funny in the trailer, because we didn't have to watch so many reactions of Brie Larson and Tom Hiddleston going fine, it's fine, everything's fine.
I thought that was funny.
I thought it was a very human reaction.
Funny, yeah.
Like they're in a very dire situation, and he's just kind of like,
what do you say? Any human reaction, what do you say to that?
Yeah,
you're gonna be like,
it's
a good name, and then you have these people.
Yeah, there's just it's a very awkward situation.
Right.
How are you going to respond to that?
They didn't feel awkward to me though. They felt like they were just kind of like, okay, like that was it didn't feel it felt disconnected, and like that whole thing was different from what the rest of the movie was supposed to feel like. That's how I feel.
Okay, I'd like to point something out.
Use your finger.
Okay. The guy that you pointed out was not from Sky High. You got that wrong because I just looked him up. This guy that's in this movie, his name is Thomas Mann. The guy that's in Sky High, let me pull him up.
Not Thomas Mann.
Nope.
Try.
I was curious because he looked kind of off to me.
They look a lot alike.
His name is Michael Ingarano or Ingarano. How would you say that?
Angarano.
Yeah. So, I wanted to point out that you were wrong.
Like I said, I didn't prepare for this week's podcast.
You should probably
Clearly.
check to make sure that,
he looks a lot like the same
Yeah,
guy,
but you
though.
need to do your research.
You know what? You do the research. I have 40 things going on.
I know, but you said you were going to do the report. And...
I lied.
Okay, anyway, moving on. I just wanted to point that out.
There's this hand-cranked slow motion thing that they do, which I felt like happened at weird, inopportune moments sometimes. Like sometimes it was good, sometimes it felt like it's just slow motion for slow motion's sake. It was kind of hit or miss for me. It's just me, but I'm wrong. So what do I know?
That's true, you are wrong.
How many people survive helicopter crashes in this?
Quite a few.
Yeah.
Probably
Do you
too
think
much.
Too many?
Probably too much.
Yeah.
like, probably...
Helicopter crashes are pretty bad.
Maybe just.
I mean, I've never looked up helicopter crash.
Yeah,
no, I've never been in one either.
There were a
so.
lot of helicopters, and of those that survived, there wasn't many in comparison.
Let's talk about how many helicopters there were, okay? Because
Like
that boat did not hold 12 helicopters. There were 4 on the deck, and 12 helicopters just spawned out of nowhere, started flying into this giant storm.
It was just for...
There were 4 on that side of the deck.
That was the whole front of the boat, and there was one behind.
Wasn't there another boat?
Yeah.
I thought it was a fleet.
I only saw the one.
The humans were all on one.
Well, I'm wrong. Woo. Let's talk about this storm then, because there's a storm that it looked really cool. I loved the lightning it was red, right?
It's like purpley, bright red. Yeah, it was cool.
It was interesting. That was cool. But why has no one been more curious about this storm before?
Yeah, it seems like something you didn't. I don't know. It was only.
It seems like something that would have been pointed out way before then.
Yeah. That people would have tried to go through and actually succeeded.
And if it was that difficult to get through that storm in the first place, how did both John C. Reilly's younger person and the Japanese guy end up on this island? And also, why do you never see the storm in the distance?
That's a good point.
I made one. One me, 40 billion everyone else. I'm making headway.
Yeah, that was one part that was a little shaky.
The first time they say, "Is that a monkey?" it's funny. The rest of the times they say, "Is that a monkey?" because it was a lot, I didn't think it was as funny.
Did they say it more than the once?
They did. I know, because I said, "Are you going to say that again?" Yep. Yep, they are. There's a ton of random shots where the sun is silhouetting King Kong or whoever is...
there were a lot of shots of the sun.
Right?
Yeah, there were.
And it was always like the sun is setting, but then the next shot, it's the middle of the day, and it's like in the same moment.
Yeah.
And I feel like that time is relative, I guess, or irrelevant. Time is irrelevantive.
Elephant.
But it's an elephant. Time is an elephant. That was time. But no, I like those shots. Like, I love that shot, but I feel like there was no purpose for the shots, and it pulled me out of it. Because I was just going, okay, have your shot, have fun with it, but then let's move on and tell the story. Okay, it's just the sun again.
So I have a question.
I don't
so,
want to have an answer.
Jack Chapman, that character?
Yeah.
Did you guys cry when he died?
I was sad.
I was sad too.
Who's Jack Chapman?
The one that Micah was calling the chaplain, but his last name is just Chapman.
Oh.
I was about to say, there were no religious figures on the island.
Did you know that he was also credited for Kong?
Yeah, I'm looking at that now. Look at that.
Oh.
It looks like there's 2 people credited as being Kong in here.
Well, there's 2 people credited as being Darth Vader. Actually, 3, if you think about it.
Yeah.
True.
Because we have...
I like that actor.
The voice of Darth Vader, David Prowse, who was in the suit, and then whoever was at the end of Return of the Jedi and went, I've replaced David Prowse again. No one will ever know him.
So there's Jerry Notary listed as Kong, and there's also...
Toby.
Yeah, that feller.
He's a good actor.
Yeah.
I like him.
He's pretty too.
Not my type.
Oh, he's pretty.
Micah said he's not his type.
Yeah.
I was just saying he's pretty.
Alright, so this movie was supposed to be kind of a... Godzilla is a... You know, they're drawing parallels between the atomic power of the U.S. and Japan, and that was kind of the reason that they did that. There's a lot of... From what I've seen, they're trying to do a little bit of the same thing with this and draw parallels between, maybe King Kong is the last big power and he keeps getting pulled into other people's fights, and that's supposed to be the U.S., and that's kind of the parallel they're drawing. One thing that I think they really, really, really were trying to push is that every time someone raises a gun, Brie Larson also raises her camera, and sometimes the gun's not the answer, and the camera, it just goes off, and it's like, things are happy now. So maybe this is some type of commentary that media is the real weapon nowadays and not guns. So World War III will be fought with Instagram. I'm calling it now.
Oof. Yeah, I guess I'll be the first casualty because I am going to kill myself.
Good thing you don't have Instagram.
Well, just social media.
It was funny when I wrote it, when I wrote that joke. That's the one joke I wrote for this, and it fell so flat.
Well, it's just because it's more true than anything. That's why it's not funny.
Well,
because it's sad.
Gosh, why'd I have to be so analytical, I guess? Slow motion, it can be used to great effect. Slow motion where Samuel L. Jackson goes down in a helicopter, then stands outside that helicopter and everyone is behind him, and then it switches to a slow motion shot beside him and people are running past him while he stares at a giant monkey. Not effective. I thought there was just no reason for that. He's just staring at the big thing, and then there's an explosion. That shot looked really cool though, where Kong rises out of the fire. You know what? I'll forgive it.
It was just a cool shot.
It was. Mm-hmm. But the one where people are running past him and he's just looking up and it's a side view, I didn't need that. I liked it. Have Kong explode a thing.
I could appreciate it. Because it was just kind of like, he's just standing there in the midst of all this chaos. And I think that was the point of that shot.
And
yeah, but the chaos was not in the same place in the two shots that happened one right after another.
I could appreciate the shot because it kind of like what you said earlier, it kind of shows him slowly going insane.
Mm-hmm. Like nobody should be standing still in this sort of situation.
Right. And he just doesn't care.
Garrett's pointing out incongruencies though.
Yes, this is true. Yeah. I'll give you that, yeah. You're right.
Time is irrelevant.
But it got 79% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, well, they're wrong.
I agree with them.
It's a 76%
and an audience
best.
score, 76%.
See? The audience agrees with me.
The way you're talking, you're more like at a 46%.
No, I'm going to say nice things at the end.
Oh.
I'm a flip-flop.
I see. Sorry.
Did you read the critic consensus of this? It says, offering exhilarating, eye-candy, solid acting, and a fast-paced story, Kong Skull Island earns its spot in the movie monsters. How would you say this word? I am embarrassed.
Movie monsters mythos.
Yeah, mythos. Whatever. My brain went out.
Do you want to read that one more time?
No.
We can edit
without ever matching up to the classic original.
I agree. I'd rather watch an old guy in a monkey suit punch a guy in a Godzilla suit than watch this again.
I'd watch this again. I've never seen the original though.
I haven't either.
I doubt it's good, but I'll watch it at some point.
I just think that the good acting I disagree with. I don't think it's the actor's fault. I think it's the script's fault. I think the script did not give them enough. There's just a scene where basically the whole thing is Tom Hiddleston walking up to Brie Larson beside her and going, it's funny how the most dangerous places are always the most beautiful. And then she's like, I'm trying to take a long exposure photograph. He's like, here's a lighter. That's pretty much the whole thing.
No.
It did nothing.
I disagree.
And then she had the lighter to blow up something later.
Yeah.
Good for her.
That was cool.
That was neat. I think it just kind of gave a little bit of a backstory for Tom Hiddleston's character, actually. Because, I don't know, he just kind of feels, I guess...
My favorite scene, though, is when she's touching.
Yeah, oh my gosh.
And then it was so beautiful.
Oh, I love it.
And I almost just cried. I was like, so
it's
pretty.
Beautiful.
When she touched King Kong's face?
Yeah. Like, that scene was beautiful.
It was. I'm not saying it wasn't beautifully shot. I feel like there were a lot of moments where the cinematography would like change from one style to another, and it didn't work very smoothly. But it had a lot of really good looking stuff. Industrial Light and Magic did all the animation on this, and it's fantastic.
Yeah, this is one of the best animated things I've seen in a while. Yeah. I gotta say,
it's great.
It's more akin to early 2000s animation, like good early 2000s animation. And I know that sounds like weird and bad. Like, okay, Lord of the Rings.
I'm giving you a raised eyebrow.
You're giving me a raised eyebrow, but I'm taking Lord of the Rings as an example.
Okay.
Because that trilogy is very well animated.
It is. It's
fantastic. And I think a lot of things more recently look a lot more video game-like.
Yeah.
And I think this movie... Yeah. I think this movie kind of went back to being a little bit more akin to
Lord of the Rings,
Jurassic
Park.
Yeah.
They did a very good job with that. Mm-hmm. I just think, like, that moment, I feel like there was no build-up to her really. There's the one moment where he doesn't kill her, and then there's that. And then he picks her up out of the water. And those are really the only moments between them.
Monkeys like girls. That's King Kong's thing. He likes the girl.
That's true. I just didn't. I felt like it should have been more emotionally impactful than it was in that moment.
And I think, and she's also like trying to save his animals, so he knows that.
Thanks for helping my cow earlier. You're a good girl. Touch my face.
Well, I mean, like, most animals kind of get like a singular glimpse of a human and kind of determine how they are. Somebody comes at you to attack you, bad guy. Somebody wants to help the people that you care about, good guy.
I watched a raccoon for 45 minutes the other night, and he never really made up his mind about me. But he ran off eventually.
That sounds like he made up his mind about you, honestly.
Well, he was trying the whole time to run off, but I don't know. He was very suspicious.
He was a raccoon. They have masks on their face. They can't help it.
No, he was suspicious of me.
Oh, were you wearing a mask on your face?
Not that I know of.
Not that night. Okay, so I've been beating up on this movie the whole time. Let's talk about the stuff that I did enjoy.
Finally.
Yay! After this one important bit, they put a 50 cal on the Triceratops head. That was hilarious. I've just looked at it and went, this is fun for concept art, but don't actually put this in the movie. Strategically speaking, though, putting it on a higher point is smarter. But I laughed when he was just like, I got a 50 cal and Triceratops head. I am the coolest person in the world.
I wish there were more creatures in the movie.
Yeah.
Like in the 2005 King Kong, there were a lot of animals you see throughout the movie, and
T-Rex.
It was a lot of fun.
I love that one.
Oh, I wanted a T-Rex, man.
Yeah, that movie was cool. A lot of cool monsters. But this one didn't have as many animals as I would have liked. There were animals, and all the animals that were there were really good.
The ants.
Have you noticed every time they dropped one of their seismic instruments, it landed in a group of deer?
Yeah, every time.
And then we never saw deer again?
No, you do.
Really?
There's a scene where one's like drinking water from a bank. So
one deer later.
No, I think
that's because they've killed them all with
there were several shots with deer, just kind of establishing shots. But they were just kind of part of the nature there.
I was looking for Kong. It's just like, come back, save me. Also, there's no gun in here that is effective at all, except for some reason a flare gun. Like every big gun that they pull out, they've got submachine guns, they've got machine guns, they've got M1 Garands, they've got all this stuff. And maybe not M1 Garand, I think I'm thinking of the wrong thing.
There.
But all of these guns do nothing, no matter what they shoot. A helicopter blade hits Kong in the hand, and he just kind of has a little scratch.
No, he has big laceration.
But they're not. They don't just continuously bleed. So it didn't seem like they were actually that severe, And then a flare gun actually has an effect on the biggest monster on this island. I felt like guns don't work that way.
It was like in its ear or something, if you notice.
It's just on the face, man.
No, there was like a hole it went into.
Hole.
Yeah, it went into an orifice.
Either an eye or an ear or something.
I don't think it did.
It
did.
I promise.
It did.
We'll rewatch it.
Then rewatch it.
Yeah. Fine. When it comes out and I can steal it on the internet. Still,
fair
though,
enough.
The gun should have been more like a gun that shoots things.
Yeah.
Instead of just being a noisemaker. It's like a bunch of kids standing with those little rattler things you get at football games, just going, I'll get him! But all the monster fight scenes, so much fun to watch. Kong falls into a boat, and there's all the chains, and then he just, I love that he is breaking the chains, and then the propeller comes off, and he's like, oh,
okay.
Yeah.
Really? Let's get to it. and he just starts that was a fun moment. I know I did go, oh yeah. I was sitting there, I was like, yes. It starts swinging this around. It just flayed that thing open. Mm-hmm. Although it wasn't flayed open. We didn't see a shot of the underside of it again.
Yeah.
They hid it from us, so we couldn't see this big old gaping wound. So I did enjoy all of that. The scene with the spider, I think, is probably one of my favorites. Especially there's like that natural camouflage with the legs, so you couldn't tell what was what, and so like every tree trunk is a threat. I thought that was really cool. Can I say one more thing that was ridiculous?
Yeah.
I think you guys will agree with me on this one. Tom Hiddleston he puts on a gas mask and has someone throw him a sword, and then through the gas mask, which we see a point of view shot, it's not easy to see in that. He's just slicing and dicing all these little dinosaur birds. That was pushing it. That was ridiculous.
You could do that.
No.
I think you guys would agree with me.
I think I'm not the only one who's pointed out how ridiculous that scene was. Like, that little sequence in and of itself was ridiculous. And I read a lot of reviews online that say the exact, like, I just couldn't.
It was a little wacky.
Go along with that. Like, just, oh well. If they had given him a pool cue, well, I'd be singing a different tune here.
Speaking a different tune.
I'd speak a different tune. C minor. I don't know. That's a.
Sounds like a hard key to play in.
That's a key.
Nah.
Yeah, that's not a tune.
Just
move your fingers a little.
Just use B instead.
Anyway, music is hard. But we've got. I love that John Goodman dies an unnoble death. They just are like, you're useless now. He died because of a flash?
No, I think he just happened to get eaten.
Yeah.
Like it just seemed like at the moment, because the flash kept going off and he goes, oh crap, and then he gets eaten. So that it seemed like the noise was why he was picked for Nom Nom times.
Probably. I mean,
but
he was making noise and stuff.
Yeah, but 20 seconds before that they were yelling to each other.
Yeah, it's fair.
So I was unsure of what the cause was.
Maybe he saw it in the lens or something. I don't know.
Maybe.
Oh yeah, I think he saw it.
Yeah.
It was in the mist behind him.
Oh.
But the flash, it cracked me up afterwards.
Oh, after it was inside, yeah. They're just listening for it.
Have you ever noticed anytime anything swallows something with a light in the movie, that light instantly becomes 1,000,000,000 times stronger?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it was daylight through this thing's body, and it's flashing. Like, no. I know a guy, though, who swallowed one of those little, those magnetic earrings you can get that had little lights that they sell at fairs? He swallowed one, and we could see it in the stomach.
Oh, well, there you go. Then you could totally see the flash through the monster.
If we turned all the lights off.
It was misty.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, those things are not that bright, and a flash is much brighter, especially one of those old flashes. And they were in very dim light, so yeah, I mean, it
was still the middle of the day.
It was
fantastic.
Misty will diffuse the light; it won't exactly take it away. All hail the mighty camera flash! I'm wrong. I did love. There's this scene where the guy with all the grenades, he goes and he like pops 2 of them, and he's just waiting for the thing to come and eat him because he's going to sacrifice himself. And the thing's just like, no. And just kicks him out of the way.
That was so sad.
I laughed so hard at that.
Why?
Because every movie ever, there's some guy who puts his arms up and is like, I am Jesus, and then he saves everybody. But this one, they're just like, no, you're just a dude. Bye-bye. They did there.
That made me sad. You are heartless.
No, they
I
kicked
think it was cool, though.
It
was,
but it was sad.
It was heartbreaking.
They picked up a cliche and they kicked it in the teeth, and I appreciated that.
I can appreciate that much, but it was just kind of like, this guy was just like, he was done. He put down his gun. He had made a point about that gun earlier.
Yeah, the fact that he took it off of a guy who had never seen a gun before in Vietnam, who was 50 years old and said he had never seen a gun until they showed up.
My favorite part with that character is when he's eating. And he's like, how can you? And I was like, that'd be me in that situation.
For those of you who don't know, no one loves food as much as Katie.
No, I'm a foodie.
I didn't like how fiery his frag grenades were, though.
Yeah, frag grenades are
not
fragmentatious, not light.
They don't combust.
But he died in a very fiery explosion.
I was hoping I would just see body parts.
Still PG-13.
It's not Logan.
Well, he ate a bunch of beans earlier on in the movie, so maybe that was just the gas reacting.
That's probably true.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry for that. Still though, I did like that they put that in the movie, and they were like, we know that this is something that everyone does. They had that moment in the trailer, and so everyone was like, okay, I know what's gonna happen there, and then they just were like, nah, just kidding, bye-bye. So I did like that. I like that a lot. So when King Kong picks up Brie Larson's character,
Mason.
Mason?
Mm-hmm.
Mason. He picks up Mason out of the water. And he's like, you're safe now. And immediately she's put into the Skull Mama's esophagus.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's another one of those things. Just the classic Kong lady being squished about and flown all over the place and not getting hurt at all. He has a very gentle touch.
Right? Even when his arm is being eaten.
Yeah. I mean, he's moving his arm around all crazy at 1,000 miles an hour.
Like, she would have had at least one broken bone.
Yeah.
Very severe concussion.
Yeah.
How did they find her camera after that? And why was it not in the water, but instead was on the bank?
She dropped it on the bank.
Oh, she did?
Yeah.
Okay.
It showed that specifically.
All right.
So that you wouldn't ask where her
I might have been laughing at something else at the time. So, all right, fine. I'm back. I recede.
Words are hard.
Somebody save me, please.
Garrett was wrong.
Oh, okay. All right.
Saved you.
You're right. Thank you. I appreciate that. No one's hair ever gets messed up in this movie. It's perfect all the way through.
That's every movie.
That's makeup and hair.
Just saying, some movie has to get this right, and it was not Kong Skull Island.
Yeah.
Some movies do get it right, and it always makes me happy when they do.
Mm-hmm.
But usually it's
I do
very
feel
rare.
like Mason's hair should have been a little bit messed up more.
Yeah.
And then I feel like there should have been more like dirt on her face.
Yeah.
Or like
Messed up
and her
makeup to
clothes
start,
should have been
yeah.
messed up
Yeah.
a little bit.
The best example, like the movie that has done this type of gradual progression of clothing and hair and all that stuff is Die Hard. Because in Die Hard, as like every little thing that happens to him, his shirt, he's got a white tank top on when he goes in. When he comes out, every little thing he's done has ripped it, and it is gray with dirt and sweat and blood. Like, it's just a gray shirt at that point. So it is possible. Mm-hmm. Someone just has to pay attention to these things.
I kind of feel like it's just one of those things that hair and makeup team, oh, this is my job. I need to, like, even like, like, you're like, I gotta make this person pretty.
Yeah.
so
Or in
it's
Garrett's case, I gotta make him look like he's been beat up.
Yeah, it's just one of those things that...
I just want people to be bleeding constantly in my movies. Is that too much to ask?
That is either not communicated, this is what we're doing. Maybe it wasn't communicated.
That's fine. I don't know.
And because if it's a big crew, and clearly it looked like a big crew.
Why are you giving me that look? I never said, they went to make this movie with 4 people.
No, I'm just, I wasn't meaning to give you a look. I was just talking.
She's just angry at me for having a different opinions.
But I just...
different opinions.
Did I say opinions?
Singular multiples.
I just feel like having a big crew, that can hinder communication. Yeah. And... Like, no,
but most of these people must have read the script, and someone should have gone, but she was in that thing's mouth. Maybe we should put some slime on her or something?
Well, I'm just saying.
Maybe her hair shouldn't be dry anymore.
Right. She did drop into a giant, deep river.
Yeah. It's also one of those things that people just need to pay attention. Yeah. And
somebody get a spray bottle with some water and just kind of sprinkle it a little bit. I mean, come on.
Yeah, we did that with Katie's hair for the trailer.
Yeah.
Sprayed her with water.
And if we can do it, I know someone who's getting paid can. I feel like all the monster stuff was good, all the human stuff was terrible. That's how I felt about it. I would watch a cut down version of this movie where it's only Kong beating everything up. I would pay for that.
I mean, that'd still be fun. Yeah,
that would be fun. I just got bogged down by all the human stuff where we're
I would still want to watch Conrad.
I'm unimportant to the plot, but I'm pretending I am.
See, that's exactly what Godzilla was, but only in Godzilla both parts were unimportant because they didn't give enough focus to either of them, so it just fell flat entirely.
Yeah, but atomic breath.
Yeah, like 15 minutes of monster time in the movie, and just it was bad.
I know. I think I just like the tone of that one a little bit better. I felt like this one didn't. That one had a consistent tone. I felt this one I don't think did. And that's where that's what always throws me off is when something like tries to flip-flop back and forth between now we're comedy, now we're sad. Except for Except for Scrubs, which did that
Have you
very
ever
well.
thought about maybe it's because you can't keep up?
Oh.
I mean, did you ever think about that?
All right, so I'm going to issue a challenge to all of our listeners. If you can burn me worse than my own wife has, tweet us at RollSoundPod and send me your sickest burn. But I've been hurt to my core. So
You'll love me later. It's okay.
So the challenge here is for someone to hurt me worse than the woman I love can. And I know the internet loves doing this, so get on it, guys. Invite your friends. Ow.
I love you.
Don't expect me to forgive you that easy, woman. We are not talking after this talking thing is done that we do. Generally speaking, I think for me, I'd rather watch Apocalypse Now and like have a little monkey figurine and kind of dance that in front of the screen. I feel like story-wise that would be a more interesting movie and just kind of like put my monkey in wherever I want. Or like a barrel of monkeys. That'd be fun. I should just get a barrel of monkeys and you guys can go watch this.
You can just go to the zoo and watch monkeys.
I don't like real monkeys. I just want little red ones in a barrel.
Okay.
That's fine.
I'm a simple man.
You can go play with your monkeys. You can just sit back there while we enjoy our adult things.
Fine. Fine. You know what? I don't want to grow up because then I'd have to pay my taxes. I'm kidding. Pay your taxes.
Speaking of taxes.
I do feel like all the really good moments are in the trailer. Like a lot of the stuff that I was really excited about was in the trailer.
Okay. That's a trailer for you. That they put all the good parts in a trailer to make you want to watch the movie.
Not all the good parts of Logan were in the trailer.
Well, no,
That's because they're too violent.
Not all the good parts of Star Wars were in the trailer.
It's too long.
Not all the good parts of Jurassic World were in the trailer. Good number of them, but not all of them. Not all of them.
But they have to give you little snippets to...
I know, but I'm just saying that if you can put all of the good parts in the trailer, then you need to add more good parts to your movie.
I disagree on that.
All of them.
They used...
All of them.
Well, maybe I just can't keep up with you guys.
No, you can't. I mean, I'm sorry.
We also have an end credit sequence because they're trying to Marvelize this. This is the second movie in their Monstersverse, so they're trying to make this a whole thing. I think The Mummy is part of this as well. So
Really?
Yeah. So we've got an end credit sequence where they talk about Godzilla also being something that's been buried under the earth. And so we are going to see Kong and Godzilla crossover. This is after the credits. You guys didn't stay.
Yeah, we didn't stay for it.
It's not a Marvel movie. We didn't stay.
Yeah, well, basically, it is now. You have to for every movie.
Every monster movie.
Every movie. It's happening in all of them.
It's
now.
all in the same universe.
Okay.
it's all in Marvel.
One issue I did have.
Yeah.
What's that black guy's name that at the end?
Samuel Jackson.
No, not Samuel.
Oh, the scientist?
And the Asian girl. I feel like they had no purpose.
Yeah, I feel like that's another thing where it's probably
at the
longer
end, like
originally.
you guys didn't stay. At the end, they were like acting like this is happening, and it's like you didn't have this much to say when you were on the island.
Well, I mean, to be fair, Marvel has those characters too, where they don't have a whole lot to do with one movie, but then they kind of lead into a segue of the next one.
I've just had an epiphany.
What?
This movie's set in the 70s, like right at the end of the Vietnam War. Godzilla really isn't shown until 2015, basically 2014. So there's no way that we can have a Kong Godzilla movie set between those time periods because no one knew about Godzilla. So in order for them to do this, Kong will be huge. So they will scale him up because of the time he's had to grow. And what we'll have is that Asian lady and the black man who were the monarch scientists, they will be older. We'll get new actors who play them as older versions of those characters.
Hopefully better
and
actors.
that will be the tie together.
Exactly.
And Tom Hiddleston, they'll age him and give him like one wrinkle because that man will still be beautiful when he's old.
Yeah.
Or they could
He's
just
already older than you probably think he is.
Yeah, or you could just put Jude Law in there because that's who he reminded me of.
Maybe.
A little bit, Jude Law.
Yeah. Jude Law does look really young in that King Arthur trailer, though.
Yeah.
Like a baby face.
But then in some movies he looks old, like really old.
Yeah.
So Jude Law is a timeless man. Again, time is an elephant. I love that there's a soundbite there every time. I don't have to do any editing. It's great. Thank you, Micah.
Yeah.
So yeah, Tom Hiddleston is 36.
Okay. He's not that old.
He's not that old.
He's not old.
He's pretty.
He's very pretty.
So, but yeah, okay. So we're gonna go around. We're gonna give it a rating because we do this every time, and then no one cares, but we're doing it anyway. Katie, what's your rating?
7 out of 10.
7 out of 10. What?
Gorillas.
Okay. There's no gorilla in this.
Oh, ape. My bad. I just thought a gorilla.
6.5 out of 10 weird bird thingies.
Cool. Love it.
7 out of 5 bananas.
7 out of 5 bananas. I'm gonna give it, honestly, 4 out of 10 scripts that were half written.
Well,
Wait,
you were wrong.
7 out of 5.
Did you?
You said, yeah, you just said 7 out of 5.
Amazing.
I just realized that. 7 out of 10. That's the one.
Well,
Bananas.
7 out of 10 bananas, and I still think 4. Just because I felt like the story was either lazy or non-existent, or someone messed with it to the point that it was there and now it's not. But in any case, I felt like the story just was pointless. It was just an excuse to have a giant monkey, and I know they could have done better.
How'd you feel about the credit sequence with John C. Reilly going back home?
That did make me happy.
Yeah,
I loved
I was
that.
very happy.
I liked that.
He was a great character.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
He was the only character.
I disagree.
Yeah.
You just couldn't keep up with the characters.
We didn't ever get to see the ants, but I loved the part where he's just like, sounds like a bird, but it's a freaking ant.
Yep. We get one F word per PG-13 movie, and that was the right place to use it.
It was fantastic. Because he just says it so nonchalantly that you're just like, okay.
I do want to see the ants.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of those things that seems to indicate to me that this movie used to be a lot longer.
Yeah. There are I saw some concept art today, and originally some of the concept art had Kong actually sitting on a throne like he was an actual king. So there's some stuff that they dumped off and all of that. But a lot of the concept art I saw, down to the color scheme and everything, that's what they used in the movie, and they recreated those images. And so some cool stuff. I do think there was some really beautiful cinematography. Mm-hmm. There was some really weird cinematography sometimes. There's that one shot. Tom Hiddleston's running and through the water, and he like stops and he does this weird turnaround, and it's like, I'm turning, and then it pans around to the monsters fighting. But go watch, it's in the trailer. But there's this shot, Tom Hiddleston is running through water and he turns around, and it's awkward and weird. And I don't know if it was because of the lens or because of how he moved. Because
you couldn't keep up? It's
not because I couldn't keep up. The man was running through water. He wasn't that quick. But there were just some spots where, there's a random shot of the sun, even though it's in the middle of the sky, but now it's on the horizon. Things like that, they kind of were weird. But it did have some really pretty moments. So
Cool.
If you're one of the many, many, many people who think that I'm too slow to watch a movie, feel free to send us your comments. Our Twitter is @RollSoundPod, as I said earlier, and our email is rollsoundpod@gmail.com. And we're going to be announcing the winners of the Wolverine movies, assuming that someone actually tweets us that they want to win it. So far, we've still had 0 submissions.
Fantastic.
So I guess I'll give them to my little brother if no one wants them. I'm sorry, Hugh Jackman. I have failed you. I have failed you. And that's the show. So go out and watch King Kong if you want to watch a movie with a giant monkey. Don't watch it if you want to have a big story experience. Go watch Logan instead. It's a much better story. Can we at least agree on that?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I can.
I mean, I agree with you that it could have been better. I'm not saying that it was perfect at all. I'm just saying, I enjoyed it for what it was. Mm-hmm. And I didn't think it was terrible. But there was room for improvement.
I wanted to like it a lot.
I feel like in every movie there's room for improvement.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, but this one had a room for a lot of improvement.
Okay, well, the story, yes,
okay.
but
we liked it.
It is what it is.
And now that people are getting phone calls, that's the show. Thanks for joining us. If you like what we're doing here, just tell your friends. Really, if there's an episode where you think is just right up someone's alley, letting them know that what we're doing and sharing it with them is the best way for you to help make sure that we get to keep doing this. We got to kind of build some more listeners, and if we can keep this up. So. Some people don't know how to get podcasts. There are several podcasting apps available on Android. If you just search podcasts in the Android App Store, you can pull that up. Some people are confused by this, so take their phone and download the app for them, and that will help. And then it's just one subscribe button away from happiness. or from hearing my wife insult me on air. So, thanks for joining us. That's Roll Sound. Goodbye.
Bye.
You did it this time.